Well, good evening, YouTube. And yeah, welcome to a hangout. I don't know why I have the headphones on because nobody's here to talk to right now. I don't know if anyone will be joining tonight. I do understand that it is a lot later than it usually is when I do this right now because I am 2 hours behind Ontario time now. But I did just walk in, so I jumped right to this. I probably should have just, forgotten about it tonight and gone out to do some shopping for Easter, but I'm going to do it tomorrow after work. And see, tomorrow I should be done closer to 6, which would be 8, not 7, which was 9. I don't know what I'm going to talk about because again, this is the hangout night. So if nobody shows, I'll probably just go early and maybe do some reviews. So I'm not going to touch my beer until either somebody's in here with me or somebody's in there with me. But I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope. Oh shit! Where's my? There they are. So I was just looking for my keys because I have like 4 sets of keys now. I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope everybody's getting ready for their Easter or whatever they're going to do next weekend. I hope everybody's excited because I mean, I have 3 days off this week. I'm excited about that. I am. I'm really excited about that. Solely because I get to spend more time with the family. And since I'm off on Saturday, we can do interview with the Rhino again. Right now, I just have a Diet Cokes. Excuse me. Purchased at the one, the only Costco. My wife picked me up a 32 pack, which costs the same as a 24 pack normally. That'll last me about 3 weeks, maybe 4. Have one a day. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited that we're doing some money saving shit now too. Yeah, it's an intriguing life. It is. So I talked about the job I was hoping to get that I was the number one candidate for and everything else, and that went down the toilet because I don't have a license. And hey, it was an interesting job. It was a job that I was really excited about. It was a job that was going to get me paid more than I needed to make. I said it in the video where I talked about it. I'm like, you know what? The biggest problem. I'm just going to take these off because there's no reason to have them on right now. The biggest problem I have right now, and I think what's destroying me when it comes to this stuff, is I was raised. I mean, my mother made some mistakes. My mother made a lot of mistakes. We've talked about some of the things that in the heart to hearts and all that, about some of the things that have happened to me growing up. However, the one thing my mother always did was not let me use my disability, my vision, as an excuse. She made me figure out ways to do a job or do a task or to complete something. I always had to figure it out. So I was raised to believe that I could do anything. So coming from that to get turned down every time I find an okay to good job is really disheartening. It really is. It kills me on the inside because every time I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. They love me. Well, at least they're telling me they love me, but I mean, that I think happens a lot of places. And then crickets, nothing. Or, sorry, you don't have a license. You can't do this job. Or, oh, you need to have a license so that you can do this. But there's like 30 employees. Somebody else can do that. Or I can find another way to do that. No, that doesn't work. equal opportunity employer, I thought. No, that. After that job, I had also had a interview for Petland to be the Petland store manager. I was told I was a great candidate for that too. Again, I think they're just starting to butter you up for nothing, because I heard nothing after that. Oh shit, son. Is that Christoph? Well, like I said there, Chris, anyone that wants to get in on this, if they want to be part of the group, they can figure out how to get a hold of me. I have absolutely no problem having a chat with anybody. I really hope to have a chat with somebody, because I mean, I just need to chat. I need to shoot the shit. I don't have the ability to shoot the shit. And hey, I know you're only here for a short spell. Glad to have you for that short spell. Because you're here means I'm going to have a drink. And I'm going to have Minhas Lake Pilsner because you love it. I believe I posted the review of this. I believe I posted the review of all the Minhas beers I had. My latest Minhas review, I was actually thinking about you the entire time I was talking. I think this is better warm. I didn't think I'd ever say that for a Minhas product. If I was to have mint in a beer, what style would it be? Ooh. Ooh. See, I think there could be a couple that would work for that. I think if you just wanted to do like a kettle sour with mint, it could help to balance it. A lager, just an average American lager with a little bit of mint could be interesting. But if I was actually going for something that I think would work well together, I think either a saison or a Roche beer, because I think that little bit of mintiness and the smokiness would help cut that, make it nice and mellow, and then to put it in with the spices of a saison, I think would work really well as well. I've never put mint in a beer. I've had a few mint beers. I've had a few in my time, but I've never made one. Yeah, but that is what I've had. I've had a mint chocolate stout. I didn't find the mint. I've had a mint. I've had a mint sour. I've had a mint and something Kolsch, and I've had a mint chocolate stout. And I didn't find that the mint worked really well with the stout. It was almost as if the malts overpowered the mint flavor. Now, I'm sure if you put more mint in, it might be better. But then, are you going to overpower the stout for the mint? I mean, I thought of saying like a mint stout or something, or a mint chocolate stout, or porter, but I thought that would kind of be cheating because that seems to be the perfect one. But the only ones I've had just weren't balanced well. Excuse me. But Old Vagina? I like Old Vagina. There's four of you. Nobody else talking. Just you. There won't be four soon. They'll all just leave since I don't have any. Why don't any of you join? You can join the panel and have a chat with me. I know it's getting late. Somebody can join. You guys can come in. It's not good. It wasn't good before, and it's really not good now. And I have so many of these still. And still no canning date. I'm gonna get bothered every time I pick up a Minhas product for the rest of my life, especially when they're like, "Oh, freshest local beer." It's gonna bother me. Excuse me. So I'm just trying to. Okay, so this is fresher than the stuff I've gotten from Rebellion. I'm really gonna piss Rebellion off. It's gonna happen. This is fresher than the stuff I've had from Rebellion. This is fresher than the stuff I've had from Rebellion. This is fresher than the stuff I've had from Rebellion. Okay, what do we got here from Chris? %13 coolers. Wow, you're basically drinking a bottle of wine at that point. I'm actually surprised that that is kosher in any way with the LCBO, because you buy coolers in like 4-packs and 6-packs, and most people are gonna drink the whole 4-pack or the whole 6-pack, or you'll buy them in big. Well, I mean, you can't. It's weird, the rules that get followed and the rules that don't. And I mean, it's even weirder that I'm just talking to myself for the most part, and Chris just isn't here. Yeah. I wonder if I would have had people if I had been able to get off work early. Oh, somebody else is commenting? What is this? Here from Ireland. Oh, shit. Shit, son. What's this all? I think the first. Actually, I've had both of those, I think. I know I've had Kronbacher. I think I've had the other. Have I tried a lot? I've tried pretty much everything that's ever come into the LCBO. You get the regulars like your Holsten, your Weihenstephaner, your Erdinger, and then you'll get things like Paulaner and what else has come in from Germany? I've tried a lot. I can't. I have to go back to some of the German Pilsners at some point in my life, because I'm starting to have more of an appreciation for Pilsners than I used to. But for the most part, in my younger days, I hated a Pilsner. I did. And again, if anyone in the comment section wants to jump on, all you need is either a microphone or a webcam, and email me, Facebook me, do something. I'll send you the link. But yeah, so I've had a bunch of German Pilsners. I've had a bunch of German wheat beers. I don't mind German wheat beers, but I do find that I am more a fan of the Belgian wheat beers than the German wheat beers. Of the German wheat beers, I think Crystal Weizen is my least favorite, and I don't think I've had a lot of Crystal Weizens. I think I've only had like Erdingers and Weihenstephaner, and maybe one or two more, but not a lot of them. Pilsners, though, Pilsners I've had a whole bunch more. I even had a few Pilsners that were brought to me by Jason. Jason is the owner of Brimstone. His wife is German, from Germany. And whenever they go home to visit her parents, he'll usually bring some stuff back for me to try. And he's brought me back some craft ones and some more obscure macro-esque ones, I guess regional for Germany. And they were actually a lot better than a lot of the ones that we can get here. Another one that Chris would know really well that's very, 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 very available here is like Daub and Hob, H-A-B. Those two were available for a long time. Daub, not really my thing. Furstenberg was not really a one I was a big fan of either. Czech, I don't think I've had a lot of Czech beers. Can you on Untappd look up by country? Because if you can, I could even do some of this right now. I know I've had Czechvar or Budvar, mattering where, dependent on where in the world you are. You have to be able to look this up, eh? You have to be able to. I've had that many beers. See all. Sort by. Oh, you can do it by country. Okay. I've had 7 beers from the Czech Republic. So let's go deselect all. Let's go to Czech Republic and let's go apply. What have I had? I have had Budvar, Pilsner Urquell, Budvar Dark, Stanopronen, Brocek, and there we go. That's my list of Czech beers I've had. Very, very small, very minuscule amount. I'll give you that. They love Budvar in your. See, here it's Czechvar. Bud in North America, Bud sued them for Budvar. Well, at least ceased and desisted them for Budvar. So things had to change. And I think I know I liked Budvar Dark. I was not a fan of Brocek. I didn't hate Stranoproven. I was okay with Budvar. I was okay with Pilsner Urquell, and I really liked Budvar Dark. Now, if we go to Ireland, I've had 26 beers from Ireland. 26 beers from Ireland. We have Guinness Nitro Cold Brew Coffee. The White Hag's Bean Golban Irish Heather Sour Ale, which I loved. O'Hara's Leon Folian. My grandmother's dead, so I feel horrible every time I fuck up any Gaelic pronunciation, because it was one thing she did try to teach me, and I didn't pay enough attention to it. So whenever I see actual Gaelic and I fucking destroy it, I get a little sad with myself, because she tried. And I should have cared more, but I was a young kid that never going anywhere that spoke the language. So what did it matter, right? So I let a part of my heritage slip by. She did teach me some swear words and stuff like that. She did teach me some other words, like I do have some Gaelic on me, but I didn't learn enough. Hop House 13, again from Guinness. Guinness Blonde. Wagner's Irish Cider was, I didn't even realize. Wagner's Berry Cider. O'Hara's Natural Blonde. Then Wagner's Original. That's not all of them. What the fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's only 9. There's supposed to be 26. Where's the rest? How do I get the rest? I will destroy Gaelic because I'm based in the North Ireland. We don't use that up here. Well, I get it. My mother's side of the family was Northern Ireland, and my dad's side of the family was Southern Ireland. So I grew up with the Green Harp and the Hand of Ulster usually in my house. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, just a little. But like I said, my grandmother did try to teach me. I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't care, and my dad was kind of the same way. My dad knew how to speak some, but he hasn't spoken it in years, and he's completely lost it. So it's an unfortunate thing that the McGee clans basically let it go. But hey, it is what it is, right? It's still just me. Should I keep drinking? No. You know what? Do I want a glass? I have a glass back there. Yeah, let's grab a glass. Oh. And to your comment there, Chris, about it being a shadow of its former self, I wouldn't know. I never cared. Like I said, I didn't care for pilsners. When I got into beer, I wanted more and more and more and more and more flavor. And it's not what I was able to get. I was getting nothing for the most part. So, yeah. See, I wish he was in the chat room, then I wouldn't have to try and read. I'm blind, guys. You got to look at my forehead. When you say Guinness West Indies, are you talking the Guinness Export Stout? Because I have had that as well, and that was very good. I've also had the Double Stout, which was brewed by Labatt here in Canada, and that was not all that good. I think for a lot of people, myself included, and I'm trying to figure out how to get these 26 to show up because I'm not getting them all. Okay, Foundry Golden Cider, which was made by Guinness. Guinness Black Lager. Guinness Blonde, Guinness Draft, Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, Guinness Nitro. Their Nitro was probably their best one. Harp, of course. Caliber. Caliber was the Guinness non-alcoholic beer. Kilkenny, again, Guinness. So, I mean, Murphy's Irish Stout, which is from Heineken. O'Hare's Irish Red, O'Hare's Irish Stout, O'Hare's Leon Folian, O'Hare's Natural Blonde, Smithwick's Red Harvest Stout from Guinness, Williams Sir Perry cider, Williams Sir Perry berry. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that we can get in Canada, and then there was the stuff I was able to buy in the U.S. Like the O'Hara's, for the most part, was bought in the U.S. Okay, I've never had the West Indies Porter. That actually is a good question, because I do remember there was some breweries that were trying to get to Ireland. So I beer 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Yeah, I see you're making an appearance in the chat, Brian, but you're not making an appearance here. So that saddens me. I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody. I need to be able to hear another voice other than my dogs and my kids and my wife. I need to hear another voice. I'm going to start hearing voices myself. I'm going to. It's going to happen. We're going to drink some Albertan beer, some Bronc beer. Saddle up. Saddle up, guys. Saddle up. We got the Bronc in the house, which is basically just your average lager. I do have some more adventurous beers after Bronc, but Bronc is going to be the drink of right now. And this will be the first time I've had Bronc cold, because I've only ever had Bronc not cold, and I like Bronc not cold. So hopefully I like Bronc cold. Oh shit. Cold, it's even better. So I've reviewed 5,800 beers. Let's check this here. 6,443 beers is what I've reviewed. Unique beers. In that uniqueness, over 4,700 were Canadian. And then the other just under 2,000 were elsewhere. What do we have here? Rainier Dry wasn't available in Ontario. Well, where were you in 2008? For 2008, what would my beer of choice have been? Good day, sir. How are you? You're heading to Alberta in the end of May. That means you're going to be close to me, Brian. You're going to be close to me. Okay, so 2008. What's my beer of choice in 2008? When was my son born? Okay, so 2008, my beer to get drunk on would have been Moosehead. Yeah, Moosehead would have been what I drank back in 2008. What's my take on Labatt 50? And actually, on top of Moosehead, it would have been Brador and Old Vienna, because those were the three macros I was buying the most in 2008. My take on Labatt 50 is do not drink an almost 50-year-old bottle of Labatt 50, because it isn't good. Also, there's nothing wrong with Labatt 50, but it's not an actual cream ale. But it is more of a cream ale than, say, Muskoka's cream ale, but it's still not a cream ale. And I mean, that's my only real take on it. No, I wrestle with my wife in the bed if you get my drift, but other than that, no, I'm not wrestling anymore. You miss Lake? Don't they still make Lakeport? And why? If there's this many of you here, why can't anybody join me? I just want to hear a voice. I just want to hear a voice. Yeah, I remember. Excuse me. One of the bars I used to bounce at a few years before that, it would have been like 2003. They were doing $2 beers until 11 p.m. and $2 mixed drinks. And a lot of times I would go and I would buy mixed drinks more so than anything else. But when I'd buy the beers, it was there. They had Brador, and they had Golden, and they had 50. But Brador was what I would buy there. And again, Old Vienna was my favorite go-to macro beer. Even back then, I actually kind of miss my old O'Keefe's Old Vienna glass. I never should have gotten rid of that, but it wouldn't have survived going to the Arctic and coming back, and it wouldn't have done it. And never heard of that beer. But then you guys are closer to Spain than we are. Just need headphones. You could join on your phone. All these excuses, Brian. All these excuses. You just are like, ha ha ha, the albino's gone. I don't have to deal with him anymore. Fuck that guy. We're going to drink Nokomis Brown Ale next because you know what? We're going to get a little more adventurous. We're going to get a little more adventurous than Bronc. So Nokomis is, I don't know if Nokomis owns Pile of Bones or Pile of Bones owns Nokomis, but if you get a job with them, you have to be able to work for both breweries, which means you could be driving over an hour away to go to Nokomis, or you could be here. And I mean, that's why I didn't get the job as a brewer for them, because I can't drive. You have 7 brewers. It's okay. You just don't get to have my smoked meat asparagus beer, motherfuckers. I haven't had a cigar in forever. I don't even know where to get a cigar anymore. The only thing I smoke, I have to crawl under my desk to get so that I can roll some more of them and maybe go to sleep at some point in the next week. Because unfortunately, without it, I can't sleep. Well, that's a lie. I can't sleep. I can't sleep unless I have hardcore narcotics if I don't smoke that. So, I mean, yeah, causes problems. So, Nokomis Craft Ales Brown Ale. Looks pretty. In my new Innocent Gun glass. Urban Cellars, actually, the next time I have money, I might go and buy the Erdinger gift box from Urban Cellars just to get the Erdinger glass because I really like the Erdinger glass. I've always liked the Erdinger wheat glass. And now that I'm not moving anytime soon, I might as well start collecting some glassware again. So I'm kind of saddened that Ken sold Black Oak, but it makes sense because Ken wasn't making a lot of money with Black Oak. But the fact that they kept the pale ale and the saison and basically got rid of everything else is kind of mind-boggling to me. Because the nut brown was much better than the pale ale that came out in like 2005. Because fuck, who wants a pale ale whose recipe is from 2005? If you're going to keep any of your pales at all, why wouldn't you keep your 10 bitter years? But I just, yeah, the choices boggled my mind. We don't get lots of the nice beers you guys review on YouTube in Canada. The Pokeroo reviews lots of the Canadian craft stuff we can't get. Maybe online we can order, but it costs a fortune. Yeah, and I mean, the Pokeroo doesn't care. He'll review anything because he shills himself to every brewery. He'll go in and go, hey, give me this for free and I'll review it. I shouldn't care. If that's the way you get your beer, that's the way you get your beer. It doesn't really bother me, but at the same time, I get it. But I mean, there is craft breweries in Ireland that I would love to try stuff from, but I can't get them. Sometimes if I'm in the States, I might be able to find them. Or if I had a PO in the States, I could deliver it to the PO, pick it up and bring it across. But it doesn't happen often. It doesn't. Because I moved to Saskatchewan, my reviews have become very niche right now. Until I can find a second job and actually start having some spending money, because right now I am still about $100 a month short on my bills. I have to get my wife to help me. Luckily, we're a partnership, so it is what it is. But until I can get a second job, because I'm never going to get this better job, because all the better jobs want you to have a license, and hey, blind. So it just, in Saskatchewan, you can get a few Ontario beers. There are a few that hit here. Cowbell's Nitro Stout, for instance. There's a bunch of Flying Monkeys beers here, and I keep thinking about buying them every time I have some beer money. I go in and I look at them, but they're like $7.99 a can for stuff I know in Ontario I could get for like $4. And they're the Flying Monkey stuff is all like 11% alcohol. And most people know that at this point in my life, I don't want the drink a bottle of wine beers anymore. It's not what I'm after. There are a few breweries that will deliver across Canada. Tatamagouche in Nova Scotia does. I love Tatamagouche beers, but you need to, if you're not in Nova Scotia, you need to order at least $125 worth so that you get your free shipping. They don't. I don't have $125 right now, and they don't have enough stuff that I haven't had for me to do that. Copper Bottom Brewing in PEI used to do it. They don't anymore, which makes me sad because I never ordered everything from them. It just never happened. Big Spruce in New Brunswick will ship cross Canada as well. And I believe Parallel 49 in BC will ship cross Canada. But in Saskatchewan, you find mostly Saskatchewan beers, Manitoba, Alberta, and some BC. That's your majority of beers. You don't find a lot from Manitoba, and you don't find a lot from Alberta, but you find a few from each. Really, you're seeming to find more Saskatchewan and BC at the bottle shops here. Other problem with here is industry standard for the most part is to sell in 4-packs. Well, due to taxes and everything else, those 4-packs are kind of scary priced. It's not legal. Like, it's not a legal thing. It's not that you're forced to sell in 4-packs. It's just that's what everybody sells in. I actually had a conversation with Pile of Bones, who again is Nokomis as well. I had a conversation with them at the brewery, and I'm like, why do you guys sell in 4-packs? They go, well, it makes us more money. You buy a 4-pack of the beer, you're going to spend more money. I go, but first off, don't you end up falling into like age problems with some of your styles? Like if it's a style nobody really wants, don't you fall into an age problem because it's going to just sit here and sit here and sit here because it's a style nobody's really caring about because it's something weird or something just boring or this or that, and you're forcing us to buy it in like a $16 to $20 4-pack. Well, no. I go, well, look at it this way. You have 27 beers. I right this second would buy one of all of them to try them, and then I would come back to buy 4-packs of the stuff I want. But because you forced me to buy them in 4-packs, I'm probably going to buy 6 4-packs right now, leave, and never come back because why do I want to come back to buy something in a 4-pack? So you're alienating your own customers by not offering things as singles because when you offer them as a single, I can try everything you have to offer and find out what I really like. Instead of buying a 4-pack of something, finding out that it's meh or I fucking hate it, and I just spent all that money on it. Well, this is just how we do it. I go, okay, well, that's how you do it. Let me buy my 24 beer and I'm leaving. And I haven't been back since. And I probably never will be back because, again, as much as they make some beers that I'm sure are going to be great, like I'm looking at one, I pulled one out of the fridge from the 4. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I have the 4-pack. So I have one beer over here on the counter to review because I keep all my review beers out because it's just what I do. And then the rest I put in the fridge. So I pulled one out of the fridge to drink tonight, and I'm sure I'm going to like it. It's a style that seems like I'm going to like, but I haven't cared to go back. Even though they have beers I know I'm going to like, I haven't cared to go back. And on their website, they talk about making a raspberry porter and a English dark mild, and I got really excited. And I was talking to them about that too. And I go, "Well, your website talks about these. Do you have them?" They go, "Oh, we haven't made those in years." Why the fuck are they still on your website? This is what brought me in here. But yeah, they're not run by Minhas thinks they run everything. Minhas is funny. And yes, like I said, the Minhas. Did you watch the latest Minhas video there, Chris? Because again, I went off on that video quite a bit, and I probably will the next video I ever do from them. I want to get my hands on one of their dill pickle beers, but again, they sell them only in 12-packs. I don't want to buy a 12-pack to get a dill pickle beer, but I want to try the dill pickle beer. We are dependent on the local big supermarket with a selection of macro, muck, and more craft beers. Depends on what they stock. Brewdog is a big player over here. Gimmicky, hazy pale ale. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Brewdog, and I know that probably will get my craft beer card taken away. Not a huge fan of Brewdog at all. That's the thing, Brian. I would do that too. If you wanted me to buy a 4-pack at a time, I'll buy 4 beer from you, but don't make me buy 4 of the exact same one. And that was the conversation I had with them. I'm like, so force it to be 4-packs only. Like this is how bad it is. Okay, and this is how bored I get. I even did them by color. Like this is my 4-pack holders. Apparently, some breweries will give you a discount if you return them to them. I haven't found one that does yet, so I've just been collecting them. But yeah, 4-packs, Saskatchewan 4-pack. But some breweries do singles, and some of them do singles by the 4-pack. Like you have to do 4 at a time, and I'm okay with that. Bushwhacker is 650 milliliter bomber bottles. they force you to buy a 6-pack. You have to buy a 6-pack of them, but you can mix and match whatever you want for that 6-pack. I'm 100% A-okay with that idea. I'm 100% A-okay with that idea. And I even was talking to some of the bottle shops. I'm like, is this mandatory to sell in 4-packs in Saskatchewan? And they're like, no, it's just what everybody does. So it's what they do. And I go, but so Rebellion, when I was applying to be Rebellion's taproom manager, I was asked one of those questions, what would you do to, and I had already known about the 4-pack only thing for most breweries. And they're like, what would you do to help bolster sales? I'm like, first I would ask the brewer to possibly brew some English milds and stuff like that, just to get some lower ABV beers. Because if you have full flavor, lower ABV beers in your tap room, you're going to make more money. You're going to make more money because you can sell more product to the person. The second thing I would do is sell the beers as singles instead of in the 4-packs. And they're like, well, why? And I told them the exact same thing I said to Pile of Bones. I'm like, you actually will move more product because more people will try something. They'll be like, hey, let's buy a 6-pack of cans. Let's do this, because those are all ones I really like. And you know what? I want to try this just to see what it's like. And he's like, oh, that's a really good idea, but thanks. And you know, and I'll call you in a few days for your police check and all that. I never got the call back. And I'm like, hey, I never got the conversation. I never got the test for my personality or anything like that. And he goes, oh, we hired somebody else. They accepted the offer yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Okay. He's like, come in. We'll talk about other job opportunities here or other places in Regina because I have lots of connections. And I go in. He ignored me when I was in there. And then I looked in their cooler and all of a sudden all their beers were being sold as singles because I had just walked away from my buddy Chris, not Chris here, but Chris that was the brewmaster at Regina Brewing. And I'm like, is there any other breweries I can get singles at? And he goes like, us, basically, us and Bushwhacker. I'm like, well, that's unfortunate because I want to try everything. You know me. He goes, I know. I go, so Rebellion doesn't sell as singles? He goes, no, I was in there like 2 weeks ago. My interview was a week after he was in there last. And he's like, and they don't sell in singles. And then I walk in and they were all in singles. And I'm like, motherfucking bullshit. And I mean, like I said, Brian, I'd be fully okay with buying a 4-pack of something as long as I got to buy 4 separate beers. Oh, that's such a good brown ale. See, so in this case, as much as I didn't want to buy a 4-pack of it, I'm not bothered because it is fucking good. I'm really jealous that you're going to Alberta. Are you driving there or are you flying there? Because if you're driving there might be a stop somewhere in Regina for you. Just have to get a bed for my attic. Well, Brian, you can't stop in Regina then, can you? Fuck. Andy, don't worry about checking out Minhas. Minhas is a joke. Chris is making a joke of it. Minhas is a laughingstock brewery in Canada. It's a laughingstock brewery in the US as well. They do sell well, and they sell well because of their price point, but their beer is garbage. Look, I had one tonight. The whole thing is false advertisement. These guys have had so many scandals on them. It's not worth anything. I mean, you could look up the scandals. Lots of scandals. Serving somebody else's beer on your taps and saying it's yours. And after getting called out for it, say that brewery's just scared that you can sell better beer for half the price. They aren't wrong. This beer is nothing comparatively in price as say even this guy. These are both the same size cans. Just one is a taller slammer can. It's basically your Red Bull can, and this is your average pop can. So this is a cheaper can to buy than this. Then these guys buy silver bullets and sticker them. So this is actually cheaper than buying painted cans. Then on top of that, they say they're made with all Saskatchewan barley, and it's the freshest beer in Saskatchewan. None of them have a canning date because the canning date has been smudged off of most of them. Like this one had something on it, they rubbed it off. Yeah, it's Moni Minhas is the president of the Minhas Sask Brewery. There is a Minhas Brewery in Alberta, and there's a Minhas Brewery in Wisconsin. Part of the family is on Dragon's Den Canada, unless she's been taken off now. I don't know if she's a daughter, a sis. I don't know what she is to Moni. I don't even know if Moni's older, so Moni might be the head of the family, but I don't know. But when you get a can that Moni has written on, and if you go to their website, you go to the Minhas Sask website, it is basically all about Moni. It's all about Moni and how amazing Moni is. Even on the craft beer versions of their cans, what you're getting on it is like a message from Moni Minhas. You should not drink because it can adversely affect your baby. That's a Surgeon General message. You've just changed it and said it's coming from you. But again, it's like support Minhas, support Saskatchewan. Again, you're stealing people's beer and selling it as your own, and then getting mad when you get called out on it. You're brewing shit with in the reviews. I'm nice about it. I'm like, I don't know for sure if it's this. You're brewing beers with extract. You're brewing beers with extract because it's the only way, especially knowing the taxation and everything else in this province, the only way you can get that beer to be that price and make any profit at all is one, if you're paying even your brewmaster minimum wage or below minimum wage, and two, you're using extracts. It's the only way to hit the price point they're selling at. The only way. Only way. Oh, Minhas. Minhas, when they broke into Canada, it was with the Boxer line of beers. And yeah, I won't deny Boxer Watermelon was good. I won't deny it. It was good. Actually, I think I have one of their craft beers within arm's reach. Warning from Moni Minhas, our president. I urge you to enjoy this product in moderation, in a responsible manner. If you are pregnant, please do not consume alcohol, as it may negatively affect the health of your future child for the rest of his or her life. Cheers. You just basically took the fucking Surgeon General's message and put it in your own words so that you could be the one that said it. Fuck you. Fuck you, Moni. Fuck you. I feel better now. Lots of scandals. Lots of scandals. What does my wife want? Colleen is up here basically shitting herself. She smells so fucking bad. Glad she's upstairs. Don't know what that dog ate. Glad she's upstairs. Well, I'm not doing any reviews, so we can just keep adding to this glass. We can either rinse it out with some Bronc Or we can rinse it out with some relatively small, or we can rinse it out with some Pile of Bones coconut porter in paradise. The weather was okay. What's the temperature right now? Let's find out, okay? This very second, it's -6. People were complaining it was cold today. Here's the one thing I'm going to say about Saskatchewan: the sun is a killer. Minhas exists in your universe, whether you want it or not. It exists. Uh, it's a fucking foul plague in the back. Why aren't you in the chat with me right now, the mustard? You could be in here. You could be in here talking to me. We could chat about Saskatchewan-esque things. But, you know, you'll order 80 to be the 80 pack is $113 plus tax, plus deposit, plus liquor tax. Still, it's too cheap to be made with Saskatchewan. It's too cheap to be made with Chinese barley. It's too cheap. The only thing I can think of, like I said, is that they're paying all their workers way too little. These, who knows, Chinese cans maybe? I have never seen that logo, which is the can brand. I've never seen it before in my life. Canada usually only has 2 canneries that are any worthwhile, and that's not the symbol for either of them. You usually get Crown or you get Ball. That's not Crown or Ball. So I don't know who the fuck that is, but yeah. 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 I guess we'll start with the Pile of Bones. What do you want, Chris? What do you want? I've never heard of Airhead there, Chris. Is that from the Wisconsin brewery? Or are you talking about Axehead? And the biggest jug of beer I can ever remember is still the Charles Wells in Ontario in the 2-liter pop bottle. I loved I loved that beer. I hated that beer, but I loved that beer. I hated especially that it was what? It was I think number 35 in the Bugsy's beer card. And you would buy it all the time because anytime you did the beer card, you had to do every number, and there was 100 numbers. And at 33, you got a shirt. At 66, you had a glass, and at 100, you had your name put on the wall. And yeah. It was something else when you were the one that had to get the number 35 and drink. That was like your one beer for the night. It was like $27 because it was bar prices and it was 2 liters. And it was always past date because, first you had to buy it through the LCBO, so it would come here. And then it would be aged for a few months before they would sell it to somebody, and then they'd sell it to that bar. And that bar didn't want, people going to the bar didn't want to just drink Charles Wells IPA for their night, so they wouldn't order it. So they would order it like the last beer. The last beer on their card was usually Charles Wells IPA. And yeah, it always sucked to get on my dirty 30 though. We went in and it was like four of us and we did the entire card, um, all 100 beers. I can tell you the one great thing about Bugsies is they never followed Smart Serve. They would serve me until I was puking in their washroom as long as I was paying them. They didn't give a shit. As mad as I am about the pile of bones and their business practice of fuck you, buy a 4-pack or nothing, I can't say that's a bad beer. That is a great beer. That's a great beer. It really is. Yeah, I completed the card myself 3 times. If you go to Bugsy's, the albino rhino should be on there. Chad McGee should be on the wall, and Chad Santa McGee should be on the wall. They never had bigger than an XL shirt though, and even when I was in the best shape of my life, like when I first came back to the casino after my divorce, and I had been doing nothing but working out and getting back in shape and taking care of myself, and like I got flabby again, but my wife feeds me too well. But even when I was in the best shape of my life, I would, and I had almost no body fat on me when I came back to the casino when after my divorce. But that's back when I had like 18 women want to date me in 1 year. And 18 and 18. But none of the even then, those shirts, those I wouldn't fit in an XL. I needed at least a 2X. Still, I need at least a 2X. I mean, I'm a lot flabbier than I was, but I'm a wide man. It was never like I was going to fit anything smaller. You had a Molson Strong. That's not a Polish lager. Sir, I am not impressed with your Molson Strong. I am having a pile of bones coconut porter in paradise. Thank you very much. Wash out that taste of Minhos bullshit. Oh, excuse me. Woo. Oh. I need a tattoo right here and right here so that whenever I lift my arms, you get to see something cool instead of just stark white skin. Nobody wants Nobody wants to see that shit. So what's anyone want to talk about? What's anybody want to chat about? What's anybody want? Period. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Think about things. Think about things. Did you like Woodford Reserve? I that was probably one of the last bottles of liquor I bought before I swore myself off of liquor. Um, I know Cecile got a very large bottle of Woodford Reserve from me. I wasn't a fan of it, but I wasn't a hater of it. And why the hell was that one here so long? It is damn delicious. You still haven't answered why you don't want to join me and have a chat. I think you just don't like albinos. You're just here to talk to Chris. I got it. I got it. Don't you worry. We have 2 beers left out. And then I might grab 1 or 2 more out of the fridge. I mean, we'll see how I feel. My warning that I'm getting too drunk hasn't happened yet, which is, my nose starts getting tingly. And as long as my nose ain't tingly, I can just keep going. Saddle up, partner. We got some Bronc in the house. So they make, and Chris, we talked about this style earlier because of the original 16 copper ale, but they make a copper ale as well, but their copper ale is $15 a case more than the Bronc. So, yeah. It's not really a big beer, to be honest. It's a average beer. Yes, there's been some good mustards. I'll talk about that shortly. You're sipping it very slow, so you don't like it. Matt, if you're going to do that, you could join me. I could hear your voice. We could see each other's face. Come on, buddy. Come into the chat. Let's go. Let's do this thing. I'll send you a link. You can say hi. Thank you very much again. I'm going to have to go out your way, and you're going to have to come out this way. That's what I mean. Yeah. I think Dave is sleeping. But yeah, Matt, you can join. We've talked once or twice in the past. I don't remember if we've ever done live though. But I know we've talked once or twice in the past. And my door is always open, sir. And I greatly appreciate it. I really do. Thank you very much. Here's something I'm going to ask of the viewers that are here. If I ever post a liquor review, either post a public message or send something privately to me reminding me why I don't drink liquor. I did try again. Brian, I had Brian send some stuff up to me, and it was years later. But the reason I stopped, let's get dark now. The reason I stopped drinking liquor is one of the times I tried to end my own life was with liquor. So I stopped drinking it. And I tried again, and I didn't get to that point, but I was losing control where I wanted to drink the whole bottle all the time. So I stopped. With beer, I know my limits with beer, and I also I will throw up before I get myself to that point with beer because I haven't thrown up on beer in 10 years. But I know my limits with beer, and I also know that my body will not ingest enough of it. Well, I should say my stomach will not hold enough of it to do something really bad to me because I have that Irish blood. And not Brian's fault. I asked him to send me some stuff. He sent me some stuff. It went okay at first, and then it didn't. So I stopped getting it. And that's what I'm doing, sir. But You're 100% right, man. Hard liquor and greasy thoughts don't mix. And hopefully you guys get better from the flu. Luckily, I have not been sick since moving out of the Arctic. But while I was up there, it happened often. Unfortunately, you weren't allowed to take a sick day because you were the only one there. Rhino is in the cage versus the Statler. Okay. I really do enjoy. I'm flying solo tonight because none of you motherfuckers want to come in and join me, sir. You're on my Facebook too. You can join me. Nobody wants to join me. Nobody wants to say hi, Paul. Nobody, not one. That's my high-pitched voice. I'm an assistant store manager in my current job. Not going to tell you the company. I know Chris has dropped it once, but I try not to ever say who I work for. I took without bonus involved, I took a $5,000 pay cut going to this job. It does not make enough money for me to cover my bills. Luckily, my wife ended up getting a job as an ECE right off the hop. However, still don't quite cover the bills. It's the reason why, well, things happened. Things happened that we didn't think were going to happen. We thought everything was going to be good. Everything didn't turn out to be good. Went into a lot of debt after the move that we had no debt when we moved. And it was stuff that we didn't expect to have fall on us. And it did. Some of it was my fault. Some of it wasn't. Trying to fix things as best we can. But my assistant store manager job is in a, and you can probably figure out, but I haven't said the company, so it doesn't matter. It's a hardware and feed store. So we do a lot with farmers, and we do a lot with hardware. And yeah, it's a job. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. It's okay. I just wish it paid a little bit more, just a little bit. But hey, whatever. Phillips does stay pretty. I have one Phillips beer left to review, and it's it's like a sour pastry beer. On top of that, their Dino Sours were pretty good. I really did like those. Best beer I ever had is a hard question to answer because things make that fluctuate up and down, right? Best beer I ever had. If I'm going to go with a beer I still think of to this day, Flying Monkey's Orange Mungus. Flying Monkey's Orange Mungus was fucking incredible. It tasted like I was drinking orange juice and nothing else. The original Innocent Gun, the original Innocent Gun, I loved. The original Mill Street Porter, Vanilla Porter, I loved. Sorry, I'm reading some comments too to see if there's anything before. Other beers that I really liked, Stiegl Radler. I love Stiegl Radler. Is it a great beer to most people's extent? No, but is it a beer I love? Yes. Best beer I've had since I've come to Regina? I don't know. So far, maybe the relatively small from Multinational or the Coconut Porter in Paradise. But best beers in general, yeah, it's a hard one to talk about. I don't fully know. Nokomis Brown Ale is a solid fucking beer. If you like brown ales, it is a great brown ale. You are correct, the mustard. You are correct. Yes, I dance for anything 9 and up. So there is the porter dance, there is the stout strut, the wheat beer waltz. Every beer had a different type of dance. I don't remember them all, to be honest with you, because I don't have the crew anymore, right? It's just me now. I don't have I look, I'm talking solo to the screen. Nobody's gonna rewatch this. Not one person wanted to join me. I just needed to hear a voice. What the fuck does Chris have to say? Bellhaven Wee Heavy was my jam. I think that's why some people got into brewing, was to make something for themselves. Palate change does happen. Will I re-review beers from the past? I don't know. Now that I am starting to enjoy lagers more, I might revisit some of the lagers I really hated in my younger days, but I don't think I would do a lot because you know me, Brian. We've known each other for fuck way too long. I'm thinking about it now. How long was I at the? I was at the casino almost 15 years, and I've been gone like 6 years. Well, going on 5 years. Like, yeah, 5 years. Yeah, this will be my fifth year since I was there. So we've known each other for almost. Holy fuck, sir! It's been almost 2 decades. Um, I like to try new. I like to always broaden my horizon and try something new. If I'm going to spend money on beer, I'd rather try something that I haven't had before, because you never know what you're going to find. So I don't, and there's just so much. Oh, maybe if it's becoming harder and harder to find content. But I mean, when I can't find beer content, I just do something family related, or do snack crates, or do hot sauce, or so I don't know if I would ever venture back to some stuff. There's a possibility, but I hate the idea of revisiting. At the most, maybe if I really liked it after not liking it originally, I might tap it again, like on Untapped, because that doesn't take any time. But do I want to make somebody else watch? Do I think anyone would care to watch a review? I don't think anyone cares to watch anything that I do to begin with. So I mean, why would I think they'd want to watch a re-review? If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm actually amazed that this has lasted as long as it has, and I'm amazed people have been interested in it. And I mean, yeah, I've shared things I probably shouldn't share because I open my life up to this stuff, and I'm like, hey, this is how I feel. This is why I feel that way. This is what's going on. And I mean, I get that that's part of the reason why I have people that watch, but at the same time, I'm kind of amazed that that happens. See, and that's okay. Sierra Nevada Torpedo. That's one, if I can find it fresh, I would revisit it because I've only ever had it from the LCBO, and it was old as fuck and I hated it. So I would revisit that one because I know that the LCBO probably had something to do with it because I love Citra hops. I brew with Citra hops. I love Citra hops. And Citra is the hop of that beer. And it tasted like shit to me. So yeah, that one I would probably give a revisit to. Um, See, this is the problem, right? It's just still just me here. So when I get up to go pee in a second, you're going to see nothing but my fridge. I don't want you to see my fridge. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, Andy. I get it. And I get that you would want to more watch something you can get your hands on, and that's one of the things I used to say all the time, because there are whale hunters who only want to review whales. I review everything, and the reason I review everything that I can get my hands on and something new all the time is because whale hunting pisses me off. I don't want to whale hunt. I want to buy a beer that everybody can get and talk about that because it actually brings in more of a conversation. I get more of a conversation and more engagement on beers that more people can get than on beers they can't. And I get that that's one of the quandaries of my channel at this moment because where I am now geographically is more of a niche market than where I was before. In Ontario, you could get beers from all over the world. You don't see it as much in Regina. You don't. I've been to Sobeys Liquor. I've been to Costco Liquor. I've been to Superstore Liquor. I've been to Urban Cellars. I've been to Happy Hour. I've been to so many of the bottle shops. You don't see a lot that isn't from Saskatchewan. And I get it. You're trying to promote your small province's offerings. I fully get it and I fully endorse it. It's just it makes it hard to continue a channel that has people want to engage when you can't get other things. So I'm going to have to find a way to get things from other places so that I can continue to bring stuff in. Even the macro beers that are here, I'm not going to revisit Canadian over and over again. It's not going to be what I do. I'm not going to do a J Terrio. Let's review the same beer like 9 times over a 2-year span. I'm not. It doesn't. It. I don't find it interesting to watch somebody talk about a beer again and possibly just change his thought process to something that's going to be more acceptable to the masses to get better views. And I want to be myself. I want to be myself. I want to be myself. Right. And I mean, that's why I share the vlogs. That's why I put family stuff on here. That's why I do the hot sauce. That's why I do the weird food and all that, because it's stuff that people can still watch and enjoy, even if it's not necessarily a beer they can get. And I get it. Like if I could, there's so many beers that I've seen from European reviewers that I'd love to try. And you're right. You can't engage in it as much when you know you'll never see it yourself. Well, thank you very much, the mustard. That's it touches me right here. It does. And I mean, I did the heart to hearts partially because I needed somebody to talk to, and it's kind of like this, right? I need some. I wish somebody was here with me so I could hear a voice, and chat word to word. But again, nobody wants to join. Nobody wants to join. I keep trying to prod one of you to join. I keep trying to come on, motherfuckers. But yeah, no, the heart to heart was a lot of different things. It was therapeutic to me. I still do the odd heart to heart video. It's just maybe once every 2 years now because I'm not in the same place I was even with my worry about money and even with my worry about my job and even with my worry about a lot of different things, I'm nowhere near the same place I was when I was coming out of the dark spot that I was in with my ex-wife. um and I mean, anytime I have a heart to heart, she tries to bring it up in court and shut me down. She's like, I don't want him talking about his past. Like, we can't make him not say, he's not naming you. You can't make him not ever talk about things. But I mean, that's where I'm at, right? Life is a weird thing. I didn't hate Molson M. I really liked the Molson M glasses though. Those flutes, those things were beautiful. I wish I still had some. Molson Golden was a sorry, I wish I could read without being blind. No, I can't. Um hell, if you can get your good friend who's the brewmaster to send me a can or a bottle of everything, I can try and find a way to pay you. I say I can try. like I said, money is tight right now, but I would love to try things from anywhere. And no, I haven't seen that brewery at all in Regina yet in any of the places I've passed through. But if he was willing to mail it to me, I would be willing to e-transfer the money to mail it. The problem is the neighborhood I'm in is actually a good neighborhood, but at the same time, Regina is known for a lot of theft. So if it doesn't have signature required on the package, the porch pirates are getting it, unless it shows up on one of the few days I'm at home. Yes, man, I agree. You have to do your own thing. I think some of the reviewers over here are forced to do the same thing over and over again because people are. See, and I don't care. You can look. Bronc is a fucking basic beer. It's a basic beer. I like it. I won't lie. I will probably buy more of this at some point. If I have beer money sitting in my pocket and I need to fill something in the fridge, I'll probably grab some of that. There's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't review it over and over again because I've reviewed it once. Unless I'm really thinking that maybe something was wrong with the can or something was wrong with the batch and I really need to give it another shot, I wouldn't go to it again. But like I said, that's as much as I hate when you have a channel that people do everything on because you're not always going to get what you like out of that. I like doing everything in case somebody likes something about it. Like Paul's talking about the heart to hearts. People love the heart to hearts. I don't do them as much as I used to. Maybe I'll start doing more heart to hearts. Maybe I'll do a heart to heart like once a month or something and just talk about how things are going because sometimes things aren't going bad, but it's still nice to just chat and be like, hey, this is what's going on. But my heart to hearts were when I was dealing with a lot of my mental health issues and they talked, like Paul said, about some dark things. I admitted to suicide attempts. I admitted to some of the things that were on my mind. I admitted to some of the things that happened to me in the past. I probably should do a heart to heart about the sexual assault I had in Pavernatook. I probably should. I probably should do a heart to heart about the person I was going to murder in Pavernatook for assaulting my wife. I should probably do a heart to heart about what it was like working for the Northwest Company. I probably should. Will I? Possibly. I don't know. Um, the hots. I have two hot sauces upstairs to review. I'm really excited to review them. I got them at work. I think they're going to be great. I have a Vietnam snack crate upstairs to review with the family. And the thing I love about doing the food reviews is I can bring my kids into it and do something with them, and they love doing it on the channel. My ex-wife does not allow me to do the food reviews with the other two children when they're here, but it's something that the family likes. So I mean, I try to bring them into it as well. And the Sasquatch Stout was a great beer, and I'm glad you found me, and I hope you enjoy what we do. No, no, sir. It is not time for fuck you. I know that you love ice beers. Fuck yourself and your ice beers. It's not time for an ice beer resurgence. Brew Watts will love an ice beer resurgence. It's not time for one. Hey, I I don't like Molson Dry, but hey, you like it? That's great. Enjoy your Molson Dry, sir. Isn't it always a king can of Molson Dry? Red Dog. Oh, I remember Red Dog. Hey, I have an entire playlist of hot sauce. I have more hot sauce reviews than what's in the playlist. But me and my buddies used to do them, and then me and my wife did them. And I have the two upstairs to do, and I want to try and get more now that I'm in somewhere different where there's a lot of different hot sauces to get. And that's the one thing about hot sauces is I find you can watch a hot sauce review from somewhere you might not necessarily ever find that hot sauce because at some point that hot sauce may end up in your area because hot sauces are weird. They go all over the world. They always have and they always will, and it's a weird thing. I agree. It's healthy to speak about stuff, especially because you're told all the time not to speak about things. And that not speaking about things causes a. I'm really sorry. I'm going to go break the seal. And when I break that seal, you're going to hear it because my washroom is 6 feet that way. Just a tall boy. Tall boys are fine enough. You guys, next, we'll get to the next comment when I come back. Sorry. I really apologize for this. Or maybe I'll just keep talking from over here. You're right. A tall boy is great. I'm glad that you have a tall boy and not a king fan. A tall boy is great. Oh, yeah, tall boys. Yeah, tall boys. Tall boys are good. Yeah, hopefully you don't hear me peeing while I'm talking about tall boys. Oh, yeah, the tall boys. They're great. Oh, shit, I stopped talking. Why is there receipts all over my floor in here? What the fuck's my wife been doing? Oh, that is more than just the beer. What the hell? Well, I drank like 6 bottles of water before I left work. It was a tiring day moving horse feed. Horse feed and salt. Lots of salt. Water tablet salt. Yeah, water. Why is there so many fucking receipts on my floor? Why is one of my beer glasses in here? What the fuck's this woman been doing? Okay, we're back. We're back. There we go. Okay, let's continue, shall we? Hey there, I've been following your beer reviews for the past 15 years. Your contact, especially the Daub review from a few years back. Keep up the great work. Fuck ice beers. I agree with you. Fuck ice beers. Fuck ice beers. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy. Glad you're here. That type of stuff is done. I don't know how blind it really is because I can tell you there are times where even knowing that something's in a beer, my honest review, I can say it's not in there. Or I can say, I don't know for sure if this is here or if it's psychosomatic. There are a lot of people that seem now we've done blind beer tasting and we've done the ladder match and this and that. And I've called out beers. I'm like, this is this beer. We did the Lakeport taste test, and you had to guess which beer was which in the Lakeport. And I got them perfectly where nobody else got it perfect. A few people got close, but nobody got it perfect. I got it perfect. There was also the Molson, Coors, Miller, Bud one we did, and I got that perfect. There's subtle nuances that if you know what you're looking for, you can get. But to say take I don't know, take this guy, for instance, right? That I haven't reviewed yet from the US, the Promenade, which is a juicy tropical pale ale, and put it in front of me without me knowing what it is, out of have her pour it and all that. You're right, that could be interesting. And maybe I'll do that for a few of my reviews, where I don't know what they are and I just talk about them and see what I think. Because it could be great, it could be bad, who knows? But it could be great for some views. I mean, you'll know what you're coming into because it's going to be in the title, unless I title it like unknown beer review number 1, and you have to wait till the end to find out what it was. But yeah, it could be an interesting topic to do. An episode of Cops where? Here? Nah. Do they? I haven't been breathalyzed once here. Not that it wouldn't. I mean, you can breathalyze me anytime except for when I'm in my house. When I'm in my house at like 9 o'clock at night, I'm drinking. I could see it be needed in some areas, however. What we got going on here? Keyword there is yet. Okay. Now, here's the thing, right? I agree. Drunk driving is horrible. It really is. If you're going to go out drinking, either drink at home, drink at a buddy's house and stay the night, drink at a buddy's house 5 or 6 hours before you're going to leave and then go home sober, or have something set up. Be it there's taxis, there's buses, there's Ubers, there's so many things you can choose. And I agree. I've lost family to drunk drivers. And yeah, I do this. Coming from Ontario, which has been a liberal province for a long time and is now conservative and all that, then going to the Arctic and then coming to Saskatchewan, I can say Saskatchewan is actually fairly progressive in a lot of their thoughts. And I mean, the idea of the breathalyzer could be great. It could be horrible. It all matters, right? Um, and I'm going to take it you're from Saskatchewan, then, sir. No, I know. To be honest, coming here, I knew nothing about the government until I arrived, and then I started learning more about the government. It was interesting learning. Ford's a conservative. Conservatives are in power now. He does try to keep some of the conservatives out of any thing. I Here's the thing, right? And you should never really talk about politics. All I'm going to say is there's not one political party in Canada that I fully support. There's not one. Socially, I'm very liberal. Fiscally, I'm very conservative. I've always voted by who's doing what I see as the best thing for me at the time. Doesn't always mean that I find someone, but that's my goal. Good day to you. Well, I'm glad you're still here then. I do not have a Discord. Um, we've talked about this in great length. I still talk to Guy quite often. I still talk to Dan quite often. Dan was from Western Canadian Reviewers, beerreviews.ca. The rest of the guys drifting apart. One of the guys, and I don't know, maybe you're one of the guys using a different account because a lot of guys in that group have several account names to see what I'd say. I love Nick. I love Lee. I love all of them. I really do. But something happened where I was like, I am a grown man. I'm not playing this game anymore. And I unfriended them on Facebook. And it wasn't that things happened that one thing happened in a Facebook Messenger group. I was added to a Facebook Messenger group that had a few other people that were on my Facebook in it. And Guy and Greg started talking back and forth, and we're all fairly dark and fairly dirty. And then people left the group because they didn't like that we were talking together, and I got removed from the group. And when I was like, okay, if we're gonna play this game of you need to be my friend and my friend only and do what I say, or I'm not gonna be your friend anymore, I don't need to be part of this group. So I left. Um, Guy is on my Facebook. Guy was never taken off my Facebook. Guy tells them all the time that I love them and I want to know how they're doing. And they're like, he unfriended us. And he goes, do you realize that stupid things happened and that's why he unfriended you? No, that's not how it happened. So things happen in life, and you just move on. I don't have time for games anymore. I'm in my 40s. I'm 41 years old. I turned 42 years old this year. I've survived suicide attempts. I've survived assaults. I've survived everything I don't have time for bullshit anymore. If you want to pull bullshit, that's fine. You can do it over there. I'm going to be over here. It's just the way it is. Actually, like 2 weeks ago, Nick was told how much I missed him and I wanted to talk to him and all that. And he was like, "Well, maybe I'll talk to him," and nothing's ever happened. Again, I'm too old now for it. I'm too old for the games. I wish everybody the best. I wish everybody to have a great, fulfilling life. Nick wasn't the one that was freaking out about things. But I got retconned out of the chat room that I got added to, and once I got retconned, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to retcon things the way it should be done. If we're going to play games and have people not be able to talk about what the fuck is going on or why they're bothered, that's fine. But if you want to be a child somewhere else, especially since you're older than I am. And again, I'm turning 42. You're older than me and you're being a child. Be a child somewhere else. I don't have time for it. And again, I'm not talking about Nick in this. I'm not talking about Nick at all. Nick's just in the middle of it. And again, I hope for the best for all of them. I still talk to several of them. One of them is only not on my Facebook group, on my Facebook list, so that he doesn't get alienated by the other people. By the people that were doing the childish stuff. So, I mean, I try not to talk about it. I try to just leave it alone. It is what it is. Either things will happen or they won't, right? And Paul did an amazing job at the Guinness Gauntlet. He did. And I appreciate that you've been here. Like I said, I'm too open sometimes, and that bothers people. I don't hide who I am. I don't hide what I am. I don't hide the things that I've done, good or bad. I've made some mistakes in my life. I've made some great choices in my life. All I'm going to say is the person that seems to be the maddest at me, and I have no idea why. And this is where I'm like, if we're going to do childish shit, I'm walking away. But and the Heineken mini kegs, I used to drink those in one night. The person that is bothered the most by me, it seems, and again, I have no idea why, is a guy from Nova Scotia, and that tells you who it is. But I never knew. I've never been able to figure it out. Just all of a sudden, I was talking about possibly moving to Nova Scotia at one point, and things went bad from there. And then when my wife left me, I did get snappy. The guys would always come for the beer festival, and they would stay in my basement. And they were staying in my basement, and it was the year my ex-wife left me, and she took my kids. And I got snappy about things. Right, all I cared about was getting stuff ready for the festival. I'm like, I'm not going to be part of the beer trade. You guys do your beer reviews and all that. I have things to do for the festival, and I'm just not really in a place to be on camera. And they did their shit, and then at like 2 a.m. they were still doing their shit, and I'm like, look, I have to be up at 6 a.m. Can we shut the fuck up? And then we went out we did the festival. The festival was a success. The day after the festival, we did our breakfast and all that. Things were good. Then we went out to do our beer tour on the Monday. And the Monday is when my ex-wife called me to say she was never coming back and I was never going to see my kids again. And it did put a damper on our day. And Nick was with me then. Nick had no problem. Nick was pissed off for me more so than anything else. And yeah, drama. And after that, things were kind of different with the person that we're speaking of. I don't know why. He wasn't even there. And I know another guy in the group, he doesn't do the videos with them anymore, but he was pissed off that Guy wouldn't drive Nick to the breweries Nick wanted to go to. And he's like, well, why wouldn't you? He's from New Brunswick. And the person that was the driver is like, I'm the driver. I don't want to drive there. I will go to any brewery that isn't there. And Nick was okay with it. People that weren't there weren't okay with it. Well, you guys weren't even there to drive them. You guys live in Ontario too. Why didn't you drive them there? But so just bullshit happened. Childish bullshit happened, and it is what it is. And I'll probably never talk to them again because I'm talking about it now. And you're not allowed to talk about the stuff. You're going to get bitched out and reamed out online. Wildcat still exists? I haven't seen Wildcat in forever. Don't feel awkward for being in Nova Scotia. It is what it is. It's because I'm fucking out. You never fucking hang out with me when I'm in Ottawa. You're like, hey, when you're in Ottawa, let's get it. I'm like, I'm in Ottawa. Nothing. Hey, you want to come join me for a chat? Nothing. I get it, Paul. I get it. Hard to forget, but I'm hard to interact with as well. That's just it, Matt. That's just it. And again, I love the guys. I hope the best for them. Before I was friends with any of them, I was friends with Guy. Hence why Guy didn't get unfriended when I unfriended all the other guys. Me and Guy are tight. Guy would have been here tonight, but Guy had a family emergency. His new daughter had an allergic reaction today, and he's worn out. And I'm like, I really hope she's good. He's like, she is. I go, I really hope that you and your wife are good. He goes, we are. We're just tired. I go, okay. Don't worry. I don't give a shit. This is just stupidity on the internet. You guys worry about your family. He goes, see, that's why I like you. Like, that's what I care about is you. I care about you. I care about Dawn. I haven't talked to Dawn in forever. I care about Nick. I haven't talked to Nick since that thing happened. I love Greg, even though Greg, I swear Greg is well, Greg's Polish, but I swear Greg's an alcoholic. But I love Greg. One of the members, something happened where when he met my wife, well, she was my future wife at the time. When he met her, he was like, why would you date her? She's fat. And I go, buddy, people can gain weight. People can, I was skinny at the time. I was muscular at the time. I'm fat now. She's the one losing weight. I'm like, people can gain weight. People can lose weight. Looks are subjective and looks change. Who you are on the inside doesn't change. And I love that woman. I love that woman with all my heart. So that made me steer clear of him. And he became very good friends with the guy from Nova Scotia. And the two of them kind of stuck together. And when I got added to the thing, they kind of pulled apart and left. And that's why people took me out. So it told me where I stood in the group. Because if you're friends with me, you don't necessarily have to be friends with, say, Guy. But if me and Guy are hanging out, you need to at least be cordial. You don't need to like the guy, but you need to be cordial. But these are people that are like, if you like this person, I can't talk to you. If you talk to this person, I'm not going to be your friend. So I'm too old for that shit. Somebody bring up a different topic than this. Fuck. Well, I'm here to help, and I mean, I talk about that shit because I know other people go through it, and I know that it helps to know other people are going through it. I had one guy who was from Sarnia, and I was his. He called me all the time whenever he had problems. I was his support, and I was okay with that. And we unfriended again for the same type of thing. It was I'm an adult now. If this is the way things are going to go, I can't help you. Because he sent me a message. He's like, "Hey, do you have time to chat?" Because he was having a hard time, and I'm like, "I would love to chat. This is the first time I've had family time in like 2 weeks. Can you let me finish this movie with my family and then we can chat?" Okay, sure. And like an hour and 20 minutes later, I still had like 20 minutes in the movie. I get if you're not going to send me a message, you can fuck yourself. And I'm like, okay, bye bye. And I unfriended him. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I've been there for you for fucking 10 years. 10 years. Anytime you needed me, I was there. I've been working a job where I work 18 hours a day and it's a holiday and I actually have time with my family. I want to spend the time with my family. And it's not that you're not important. I will make time for you. You just have to wait until my movie is done with my kids. And he couldn't do it. So I couldn't keep going. I'm like, it is what it is. And I moved on. And I mean, that's where I'm at. I can't anymore. I've I can't. I try, I can't. It's the best. Yeah. That's the thing, Brian. Yes. If those guys came here and they were like, "Hey, can we chat tonight?" I would send them the link. I'd like be like, "Come on, let's go. Let's have a talk." That's who I am. That's who I've always been. The people that Matt fuck, I still again, almost 2 decades we've known each other. No matter what, I'd talk to you no matter what. Some of these guys, it's the same thing. I don't think I've ever had that, to be honest. Matt, thank you very much. Have a good night. Again, Matt, you need to join us on one of these. Get a webcam. Our next hangout will be in 2 weeks. It'll be like 10 p.m. your time, but at the time I go online. But maybe you can join us. I would love it. I would love it, sir. Thank you very much. Cheers. Hope you and the family feel better tomorrow. CFL games are actually cheap to go to, so maybe. Guy is in the French Wizard from Beer Guy Reviews, and I think now he is. I don't even know what his channel name is now. He keeps changing it. But yes, you would know him. He's been on here very often. He's a French guy, very thick French accent, and he is married to somebody that is not Caucasian, if that's what you mean. But why would you have tuned out from them? Nick is great. Nick is a very loving guy. Most of those guys are really good guys. Like I said, I've had a run in with one of them, and I don't even know what I did. Well, two of them, and I don't even know what I did. Like I don't. All right, Matt. You know where to find me: Facebook, YouTube, email, however you need to find me. I'm always available. Well, unless I'm finally watching a movie with my kids. So we talked about hard liquor before, and I'll say the same thing to you now as I did then. If you ever see me post something about hard liquor, please reach out to me, because that's not I have not touched. I Before I asked Brian to send me some stuff, and I asked him to send me some stuff. It's not his fault. I asked him to. He sent it to me. I hadn't touched hard liquor in a good 8 years before I asked him to send me anything, and I had used liquor to. One of my suicide attempts was with liquor, and 8 years later, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm strong enough to be able to do this. And he sent me a package, and it lasted a long time. And I'm like, okay, send me another package. He sent me another package, and it lasted me a long time. And then I started getting into a darker thoughts. And it wasn't the alcohol that put me in those darker thoughts. It was the things that were going on where I needed to get out of the Arctic. And the third package he sent me, it wasn't fine. So I don't touch hard liquor anymore. And if you ever see me touch hard liquor, please reach out to me, because it means that there's something not good going on. I had waited 8 years to try, and when I tried, it went bad again. So I will never touch hard liquor again. Hard liquor, as much as I'm Irish and whiskey is in my blood, I will never touch hard liquor again in my life. 42 years old, if I live to 100, I'm still never drinking hard liquor again in my life. And, well, I should say I don't want to touch hard liquor again in my life, because the temptation may overwhelm me sometime, which is why I put it out there that if you see me do something with it, if I post something about it, if I do, please reach out to me and remind me about myself and where that takes me. Because, again, like Matt said, hard liquor and greasy thoughts do not mix. And he is 100% correct on that. Thoughts on Vince McMahon? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm glad that this is the thing, right? Everybody needs to know their limits. I drink beer because I have not made myself sick on beer in many, many years. I know my limit on beer. My body cannot process it. My body processes it slower. Like, if I could never get to the same point I got to with the alcohol. I could chug like 3 bottles of whiskey and not have a problem until it started metabolizing. Can't do that with beer, because beer is so much lower ABV. If I was to drink enough of it to get to the same point I could get with hard liquor, I would make myself sick anyway. Never, I haven't done that in years upon years upon years, but yeah. So I'm sorry that you have that. My thoughts on Vince McMahon. You know what, Brian? I don't know what I want to say about Vince McMahon. I believe that he's probably done something. I believe he's had so much money that he thinks that he's untouchable, and most people with that much money have done things. Do I think that it's to the extent it was out there? I don't know, but who am I to say, right? All I know is, yes, I think he's done something. I think that the company itself has covered up a lot of shit. There's so many NDAs with him involved. There's so many NDAs with the company involved. There's NDAs about Pat Patterson still going on with that company. Yeah, something's happened, and that's where it's at. Jim Cornette. You know I love Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is weird because Jim Cornette is so offensive yet so liberal at the same time. He's a weird dichotomy because he's hated by everybody and he's loved by everybody at the same time. He's a weird dichotomy. The Dixie Cup. Ooh. I still remember to this day, because I can still taste it, drinking the beer out of the tampon. Probably not the greatest thing I ever did. I've done a lot of stupid things in my days, but drinking the beer out of the tampon was probably one of the dumber things I've done. You're 100% correct. That's exactly what I would think Jim Cornette was. I actually recently watched a Santino Marella video when he was talking about the getting slapped silly by Cornette video, and I kind of didn't know how to take that because, you know, people are like, oh, Cornette's only mean to people that are below him. I'm like, Cornette's fucking cray-cray. Cornette has so many people that have charged him in his life. Cornette doesn't care who you are. He doesn't care if you're a wrestler. He doesn't care. Cornette's weird. Cornette's weird. He is. He's just weird. It is what it is. It's Cornette. You accept it and you move on. Oh, that is one of the best Irish stouts I've had. The best thing about Vince Russo is how he makes Cornette react. Vince Russo is my favorite person in the world because he gets Cornette to go off. You don't see Cornette go off like that until you bring up Vince Russo's name. And then it's like, ha, that's amazing. Go, Cornette, go. Yeah. Sorry, my wife keeps texting me. I just want to respond to her. There we go. Brian, how many people are in the chat room right now? Because I think Chris has left. I haven't seen Chris's name in a while. I think the mustard is left. I think Paul is left. I think everybody's left. Do you work tonight, Brian? Is that why you're up right now? Ten people. Holy shit. And only the two of you are talking right now? And why aren't one of you in the chat room with me? Why don't one of you say, hey, let me come on? I'll say hi. That's all I want. Well, what are you off now? Because today is what? Sunday, Monday? Are you off Sunday, Monday? Is that your days off? Sorry, I'm thinking about where you work and what the schedule would be. Are you number one on midnight now? Well, you were number one on midnight forever. You were higher than everybody else on midnight. Excuse me. There's 10 of you, and only you and Bradshaw. Is that what it is? Bradshaw? Sorry, I'm blind. This is why I need somebody in here, somebody to read these things for me. Oh. Well, I'm sober enough to have a few more beers, but I don't know if I should have. Well, you know what? My wife's Aunt Flo visited today, so maybe I'll have another beer or two because I don't need to perform tonight. Because I'm getting to that point where I wouldn't be able to perform. That's because you're somebody from the group. That's what it is. You are. No, I'm just being an ass right now. 13? Holy shit. And nobody will say hello. Nobody will come and join me. Okay, this DeWalt fucking saw has to get out of the way. It can go under here. There we go. You can go under there. Now we can grab another beer or two. Oh, what should we get, guys? What should we get? Oh, shit. You can't see what I have to offer because what should I grab? Oh. No. No. Stay there. No. That's all fucking Minhas. Nobody wants Minhas. I don't want Minhas. Huh. Huh. What should I drink, guys? You can go up there. Oh, we'll try that. Put that one away. Close that. Move this out of the way. Okay. We got our last two of the night now. Okay. Boom. Sorry, I didn't see your. Well, actually, this is pretty close to what you were asking for. We have from Banded Peak Brewing. There goes the juicy limes. They're lime morphology sour. Ooh, lime sour. Because limes aren't sour already. You know what? Let's turn this off. We don't need this. We don't need wow, that's dark. I really need to change that light bulb behind me, first off, because it's an incandescent. The amount of heat it gives off is insane. But if I change it to a good LED light, I have a lot more lighting going on. But we will move this here light over here for the next time I do reviews. I'm so glad my wife bought me that. What the fuck is this? Well, first and foremost, thank you very much. Second, how long have you been in St. Catharines? I was in St. Catharines for a very long, well, I was in St. Catharines for a good long while. And then after St. Catharines, I was in Niagara for a while. Then I was in Welland for a while, as most people know. Congratulations on the sober. I mean, everybody does what is right for them. I am currently not, because I drink beer quite often, but I am sober from hard liquor for a year, and before that, 8 years. So, I mean, is what it is. Good non-alcoholic beers. If you're looking for the flavor of beer, what you can get in Ontario, Partake always does well. Partake Red, Partake Stout, Partake IPA. Caliber is by Guinness. Caliber is a very good one. If you can get somebody to send it from you to you from here in Saskatchewan, the Hero Stout is actually a milk stout that tastes like a milk stout. I haven't tried their pale ale yet. I don't know if it's still available at President's Choice branded stores, but PC Red Brew was always, if you liked Rickard's Red, PC Red Brew tasted exactly like Rickard's Red, but it was $6.99 for a 12 pack. I don't know what it would be now if it still exists. And PC Blonde Brew tasted basically like your average beer, macro beer. It didn't have the under attenuated flavor that like Molson Excel or anything like that have. Do I miss Ontario at all? I miss a lot of the people in Ontario. I miss the fact that I could see my kids more often. I miss the fact that I could see my father more often. I miss the fact that I could take my kids to see my grandmother, who is going down the road of dementia. But do I miss the province itself, other than the selection of beer? No, not really. I have liked, and I've only been here a little over a month. I mean, I landed here February 10th. I took possession of my house February 14th. I have been in my house for just over a month and a week or so. Well, a month and 10 days or so. I have really enjoyed my time in this house. I have really enjoyed my time in Saskatchewan. I have really enjoyed the fact that Saskatchewan's insurance is a lot cheaper. I have enjoyed the fact that Saskatchewan's gas is a lot cheaper. I enjoyed a lot of things about Saskatchewan. I have. I can't. I can't. If the housing prices were cheaper in Ontario, would I have gone back to Ontario? Probably, because I would have been closer to my kids. I would have been able to get a better visitation set. Uh, the problem I have is that I have to go through court for everything because my ex-wife will never just work with me. It has to be in. It has to be written, or she does not follow it. If it isn't in a court order, she will not follow it. Like this year, I'm like, hey, we just moved to Saskatchewan. It's going to cost us like $3,000 to bring the kids here, send them back to you, send Aiden to you, bring Aiden back to us. How about we just take the kids for all of July, and you can take Aiden for your 1 week or 2 week, or you can take them for the entire month of August. We don't care. How about we do that, and then it's more beneficial for all of us because the price makes more sense, and we just don't. You don't pay child support to me in August, and I don't pay child support to you in July. No, that's not acceptable. I don't want to. This isn't. I want to follow the court order. Okay, well, I want my 3 weeks. I don't feel comfortable with that, but the court order says I can have 3 weeks if I ask you for it long enough in advance. Then nothing. I'm like, okay, so this is the 2 weeks I'm taking it. Oh, you don't want them for 3 weeks? You have to agree to the 3 weeks, dummy. You didn't agree with it. You told me no. So yeah, I want them for 3 weeks, but no, I'm gonna. Yeah, don't get married. What the fuck is that? Thank you, sir. Yeah, it. No one ever has to send me anything, but I greatly appreciate any of it. So thank you very much. PC Red with a pinch of. Can we get PC Red here in Saskatchewan? Can I get PC Red in Saskatchewan, Mustard? Can I find PC Red somewhere in Saskatchewan? Because if I can, I will have PC Red in this fridge behind me as well. Once I get rid of all the Minhas shit, PC Red will be in there because it was so cheap and it was actually really good. Can I get PC Red here? Again, thank you very much. It means a lot to me. It really does. Again, not expected, not needed. I appreciate it. It'll buy a beer for a review. That's what it'll do. Or it'll buy a hot sauce for a review. Because anything I get from this is separate from what I need for a living. Unless at the time I need it for living. It is what it is, right? I know I'm not a Ryan Trainer or a Blacktail Studios or a Ray William Johnson or any of the guys that make shitloads on here. So I appreciate every cent I make. Um, fuck, what is it? I've been on here. My son turns 14 this year, so I've been on here for 13 years. I think I made $900 in 13 years. It's $900 I wouldn't have had any other way, and I appreciate every cent I make on here. So it is what it is. I mean, even if it's not donations like that. If it's just people watching a video, I appreciate every cent I make on it because it is something that says, hey, maybe I'm doing something okay. Really? You watched that tonight? That's something I would not have expected. I actually watch Dark Side of the Ring all the time. I haven't watched wrestling in a very, very, very long time. To be honest, I don't know half the wrestlers in the WWE right now or any other thing. But I love Dark Side of the Ring because again, I'm 41, right? I was born in 82. I like watching it because it's guys that I watched that we're talking about, and it's an interesting. My wife hates wrestling. She loves watching Dark Side of the Ring with me. Um, it's one of those things where we watch it and we're like, "Ooh, this is an interesting." And I mean, I love watching it, especially when Cornette's on it. I love listening to Cornette and Brian Last's podcast. I really do. Me and Brian actually will send shit to each other about the podcast every once in a while. It is what it is, and it's great fun, and I love that stuff from them. I'm gonna have to look the next time I'm at the superstore. The superstore is right across the street from my work, so I'm gonna have to go across the street and look if it's at the real Canadian Superstore. Because if it is, I'm buying it. I'm telling my wife we need to buy this. You can find. Don't buy me pop this week. Buy me this. I haven't found any call center from home jobs, man. I've been looking for everything. Were any of them any good? I've never had. I've had the Erdinger and NA. I haven't had any of the others. Also, you can look at You know what? Two great places to order non-alcoholic beers. Um, Upside Drinks and premiumna.com, I think it was. The guys that own Partake own premium non-alcoholic, and Upside Drink has a lot of craft breweries. Actually, the Corona Sun Brew isn't horrible either. It really isn't. I can't say it is bad. Canadian Tire. What are you talking about? Canadian Tire works from home. I'm gonna have to look. I've not seen any job offerings from any jobs to work from home here, but I will look. I broke the seal, so I got to pee again. Guess what? You're gonna have to listen to me talking in the bathroom. The Mustard, I see you posted a comment, and somebody else did too. Mr. Singh. We'll talk about that as soon as I get back. Oh, I'm not peeing. No, I'm not. I'm not peeing. Why would I do that? Oh yeah. Oh no, I'm not taking a urine break. Not at all. I wouldn't do that. Not me. Not me. And if you're wondering why I don't close the door, because I don't have a door. It's just an accordion piece of plastic. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh yeah. Okay. This has been fun. Put the toilet seat down so my wife doesn't murder me. Yeah, probably a good idea. Probably a good idea. Okay. What do we have going on comment-wise here? Yeah, I've never tried any of the non-alcoholic hard liquor, and I don't think I want to. The price is scary. Yeah, I figured what you meant. I don't see many remote jobs posted. Um, it would be awesome to find a remote job where I could come home from work, sit down for a few hours, do a few things, make some money. Haven't I'm figuring I'm going to end up having to work overnight somewhere, be it a McDonald's or an A&W. My wife might divorce me because if I shave my face, she doesn't want me anywhere near her. I'm not going to get laid for the rest of my life because if I work in a restaurant, I'm going to have to shave my face. The schedule I have at the job I work right now doesn't lend itself well to secondary jobs, which is why I really have to find a better job. But again, every better job here seems to want you to have a license. And being blind, you don't have a license. It is what it is, right? Well, as long as you can only hear me talk clearly and not pee clearly. Paul, again, I appreciate every cent I make. Thank you very much. I feel like an idiot. There's no reason for this. Like, you guys make me cry. I go offline and I cry. I've cried to my wife when Matt sent me like $10 once. And I'm like, I don't deserve this. Why send this to me? It makes me sad because everybody else could use this as more than I can. I don't know your wife, so I won't breathe it to her. I mean, we've not connected in person, so we haven't done that. Again, you're more than welcome to join any hangout we do. The only caveat is when we do the interview with a rhino. That's our Jim Cornette Brian Last podcast. So that is that's Chris in charge. If you guys want to send in a question, you can send it to the Albino Rhino Beer Review Facebook page, and Chris will get it and he can ask it online while we're live. Uh yeah, but the hangouts, everybody's welcome. You can even chat with us there. I love talking to people, and I can't believe this has gone on this long because I've always said if it's just me, I'm only going to be on for like 5 to 10 minutes, and here I am, like a couple hours in, still talking. Don't know why I'm doing it, but here I am. I have not been a member of the CNIB in fuck almost 3 decades. No, I would have been 18 when I had my last CNIB card. So, like 22, 24 years. 24 years this May would have been the last time I was a member of the CNIB. But yeah, I should reach out to them and see what's going on, see if they know anything. Like I said, it's a sad thing because you go into these interviews and they're like, "You're our number one candidate," and then they're like, "Oh shit, you're blind. Never mind. We'll hire somebody else." And it's all these jobs that pay a lot more than what I'm making right now, and they're all jobs I can do. They're all jobs I have done. It's it. I've talked about it earlier in this show, but I mean, my mother did a lot of things wrong. She did a lot of things wrong, and she is the cause of a lot of my trauma, or at least the catalyst to a lot of my trauma because of some of the men that she had in her life that would beat me and do other things to me that we're not going to talk about right now because it's a little dark. But the one thing she did do was drive into me that no matter what, I have to find a way to support my family and this and that. So she taught me to learn ways to do a job, to learn ways to do things, to figure things out and not make excuses. It's the one thing she did that was right, and I give her props for that. And then every time I turn around, I get turned down for the things I was told I could always overcome. And I think after being turned down about 72 times so far since moving to this province, I'm at a breaking point on whether or not I can continue to try to find something better. And I don't want to just accept that I'm not worth what I was getting paid even in the Arctic, and I was getting underpaid there. I don't think I can just accept it, but at the same time, I don't know what else to do with it. And again, after 72 times, 72, I've counted them. I have a fucking spreadsheet about which places have turned me down once they found out that I don't have a license or can't get a license. And you can be like, well, go to the labor board doesn't force you to get a job. It gets you an apology. That's what it gets you. So why? Why would I do it? Um, I think it really hurts after that many attempts. I really do. And I even had a brewery turn me down because I didn't have a. And I'm not talking about Nokomis slash Pile of Bones. I'm talking or Rebellion. Rebellion didn't even turn me down. They actually hired a family member of one of their board members to do the job that they said I was a top candidate for. That I had every single thing they wanted. They didn't have to train me on anything. But anyway, there was a brewery that was looking for a basically the same thing that Rebellion was looking for, but they wanted a driver's license, and I don't have it because I'm legally blind, and I got turned down because of that. I've had wineries turn me down because I've had so many places that are in the industry that I have worked in for years turn me down because of that I don't even know where to go anymore. Like my wife gets sad for me because I'm like I'm a man who has always done everything. I at one point had 4 jobs to support my family, and now I can't find more than 1, and it doesn't support my family. So I don't know where I'm going from here. Jimmy, there's a reason to hate on that man, but this is not one. This isn't Trudeau doesn't give a shit about Saskatchewan. He doesn't. There's lots of reasons to hate on him. This is not one of them. Brian, you're right. It is a smaller province. It's a fairly progressive province, though. A lot of their laws are very progressive, so it's one of those things where I just kind of shake my head. Um, it is what it is, right? Um, I hope your cataracts are great. I hope they did great for you, and yeah, I don't know if you're saying the CNIB was helpful with your cataracts or the cataracts were help. Cataracts aren't doing shit for me. Um, but if it's the CNIB, I'm glad they were helpful to you. Because of the way I was raised, I kind of steered clear of the CNIB after a while. And it wasn't any real reason other than I was always trained to do things myself and I figured out how to do things myself. I figured there are people in this world and there are people in this country and are people in this province and are people in this city that need the CNIB more than I do. And I let them deal with the CNIB and I just lived my life. When I worked at the casino, I got paid really good. Actually, I made great money when me and Chris were on the same. Not the Chris that does this or the other Chris that's the brewmaster here at Regina Brewing, but a buddy of mine, Chris. When me and him were at the same bar, we made great money because he had one arm and I'm blind, so the tips just fucking rolled in. There's a blind bartender and there's a one arm bartender. These guys deserve money, and we did great with what we did. And yeah, it is what it is, right? Um, I don't even know. I don't know enough to know that I don't know. That's where I'm at, right? Life is life, and I had it kind of cushy with the Northwest Company. I had a house, I had my food allowance, I had this, I had that. I had no ability to interact with anybody. I couldn't get my kids the things they needed or wanted. I couldn't. I got paid more than I'm getting paid now, but it wasn't enough for where I was living in a place where a case of pop was $34. So I mean, and my pay was 49. My store was pulling in $9.5 million dollars a year. I was making 49,000. My wife was making 55. We were getting paid way under what we should have for what we were doing because they gave you your food and they gave you your house. And they didn't expect us to want to leave. And the biggest problem with that company is when you want to leave, you have to pay your own way out. You have to pay your own way out in that you have to get your own family out and you have to get your own stuff out. So when we gave our notice, they fired us without cause. They fired us with cause because they said that we were abandoning our job because we weren't going to be back at the end of our vacation. So they could take our benefits and they could take our pension and everything else. Most people leave the way we left. And they leave the way we left solely because it takes thousands upon thousands. Like if we were still in Pavernatuk when we left, it would have been $15,000 just to fly out. They trap you. That's what they do. They trap. If you're okay with staying, your life is pretty good. If you want to get out, if your kids are about to go to high school and stuff like that, so you need to leave, you're not doing great. My eldest daughter, Braith, who is Alicia's daughter, my adopted daughter, she doesn't live with us because she moved out to her grandmother and grandfather's house to go to high school because there's no high school where we were stationed. She has her friends, she has her boyfriend, she has this, she has that. She doesn't want to come live with us right now. I mean, once her grade 9 puppy love dies off and he dumps her or she dumps him, maybe she'll want to come out with us. But we lost one of our children over this job. Well, not this job, but the job we had. And again, we were also one of the reasons we're in the financial difficulty we're in is because we were expecting the $25,000 in bonus we were open to that we were supposed to receive. We didn't receive it because we were fired with cause for not returning after our vacation. I didn't even get my full vacation pay. They didn't fire Alicia early enough. They fired her after me because they were hoping she would come back, but she didn't. So she got her full. We landed February 9th. I was paid 2 days before we landed. The first paycheck I had, and this is why we were in such a monetary constraint. The first paycheck I had was Friday. Friday was my first paycheck since the day we left that company. My bonus was held back. My pension was pulled back. Everything was pulled back. They came to us and they're like, "Well, why did you leave the way you did?" And I'm like, "I needed out." I go, "I was sexually assaulted in your company. My wife was physically assaulted in your company. I had a dog stabbed to death. My son had knives pulled on him. My daughter had an attempted rape on her because of the places you put us. We needed to get the fuck out. I haven't had a friend in 5 years. I haven't been able to talk to anybody in 5 years. I haven't had anything but fucking bullshit for 5 years. You haven't paid me. I've been working 16-hour days for you for 5 years. I need to leave. I need out before I kill myself. Because before I came to you, I was suicidal. Now I'm back. Like, this is the thing, right? And this we talk about. We have a whole bunch of financial burdens right now. We're still fucking the happiest we've been in years. And that's not to say that the Northwest Company isn't for everybody. There are people that, if you're somewhat socially awkward or you need a house and you need your food paid, it's great as long as you're okay with the things you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with a lot of bullshit that you don't realize you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with your employees committing suicide left, right, and center. You're going to deal with a lot of hatred. You're going to deal with a lot of things because of the places you're sent. And when you want to leave, you're going to be garbage. And that's what you need to remember. You're going to be garbage when you leave, but while you're with them, you're doing heroes work. But when you leave, go fuck yourself. So I mean, it is what it is, and we've had to do things we've had to do. I had to take that pay cut to take this job, but again, like Brian said, this is a smaller problem. I can't find anything. The second they know I don't have a driver's license, I'm nothing. I have no attempt at being anything. And it's destructive to your mental state. It really is. But at the same time, I'm still happier than I've ever been, at least in the last 5 years. You are right. You are 100% correct. What was the most overpriced item we sold? A 24 pack of water was $37 in Deer Lake, and it was $49 in Pavernatuck. So a case of water was probably our most overpriced item. And you have to remember everything was flown in, right? And part of the difference was in Pavernatuck, Air Inuit flew all your stuff up, and Air Inuit was owned by the competition. So when we flew stuff up, we paid a lot more per pound than when the competition flew it up. In Deer Lake, it was our own company. Well, I say our own as if I still work for them. I don't. It was the Northwest Company's company that flew them up. It was fuck. Yeah. So the Northwest Company's own company would fly up the goods to Deer Lake. So we were paid a lot. We paid a lot less, and all that money went back into the company in the end because it paid the company that flew our stuff up, and then went back to the Northwest Company in the end. So our stuff dropped in price. Also, our stuff didn't drive as far. It drove from Winnipeg to Red Lake, which was like a 6-hour drive, and then it had a 30-minute flight to us in Deer Lake. Where to do it in Pavernatuck, it drove, well, it went on train to Ottawa, then it went from Ottawa to Montreal, then it went from Montreal to La Grande, and then it ended up on the Air Inuit flights from La Grande to Pavernatuck, which was a 45-minute flight. But since in Nunavik only Air Inuit could fly there, they had a monopoly on everything and they could charge whatever they wanted. North Star Air was Northwest Company's airline, and North Star Air had competition. You had Bearskin Airlines, you had Northway, you had Perimeter is technically Bearskin as well, but you had enough different competition that the prices were cheaper. This year's very warm winter really destroyed Deer Lake. They did not get all their trucks. The winter road really wasn't open. Pavernatuck would have sea lift, and sea lift was when the giant boats would come up, and the barges would come over with sea cans of shit, and the sea cans would get dropped outside of your store. You had so many hours per sea can to empty them, and you would empty them into your warehouses or into your truck to go to your other warehouse or to your store or wherever they had to go. And then whatever sea cans you didn't finish, they would charge you for the year for. So it is what it is. But at the same time, the Northwest Company owned the airline. The Northwest Company owned the majority of the Sealift Company as well. So the Sealift Company was NEAS, and they owned 51% of NEAS, where they owned almost 100% of the North Star Air. But I had a fight one time with one of the logistics guys because we were fighting about, I don't even remember what we were fighting about, but I said straight up to him, I'm like, you guys are not the logistics gurus you think you are. Since you can't figure this shit out and you can't get me the things I need and you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do that, you are not the logistics gurus you think. So it might be time to back up, accept that you're fucked, and move on. Like, this is insanity. You want me working 18 hours a day. You want to pay me $49,000 a year to make you $9 million. And you're making a lot. You're selling $10 fans for $75 because they flew up. They don't weigh anything. That's all profit to you, motherfuckers. You're cheating people left, right, and center. And you're pissed off because I left you. I left you because you allowed me to stay in a place where my whole family was at risk for over a year. We asked for a transfer a year before you transferred us. A year. It was a year before you transferred us. This is what happens when I don't have somebody to talk to. I just fucking start ranting. And you left and then you wonder why we want out. You're like, why couldn't you give us more notice? I was sexually assaulted, motherfucker. I was suicidal for 2.5 years while in your company. I had suicide watch on me several times because of things that happened to me and my family and the fact that I could never get out. Because every time I saved up enough money to get out, something would happen in my life that took all that money from me. Because you don't fly people out. If they quit on you, it's up to them to get themselves and all their shit out. Well, you know how much money it cost me to just ship all of our clothes out of Deer Lake? And Deer Lake is close to civilization. It cost me $1,700 to ship my clothes out. Me and my family's clothes. We really did not sell some stuffed animals, some coats, some boots. We had a box of shoes. We each had like 2 boxes of clothes. We each had a box of personal effects, and we had a box of board games. We sent out like 22 boxes in total. Over $1,700 to ship it out. That was for me to figure out. And then if I didn't leave on vacation, it would have cost me another $2,000 to get my family out. And then to find a place to stay. And this is why people leave the way they leave with you. It's the reason that happens. But nobody could understand it. I don't even know if anyone's still here. Maybe I'm just talking to myself at this point. Nobody's commenting. So I get it. It's like midnight in Ontario. Well, most of Ontario. Not all of Ontario, but most of Ontario. It's like midnight. I'm not sure where to go with my time, my life, my anything anymore. Like it. There's 8 of you apparently. Somebody talk to me. Somebody get me to stop. I answered the most overpriced item we sold. Somebody else say something. Say something. Come on. Help me, help you, help me. 8. Is that how far back we are? Is that the lag on this? Okay, last beer for me is Great Western Lime. And I actually like Great Western. The Great Western Lime. I like it. It's a solid beer. Sounds like my wife is upstairs watching 90 Day I'm sad, Brian. I really was hoping to see you this summer. I really was. But I get it. I do. I close tomorrow, and then I'm off Monday, and then I open Tuesday, Wednesday, then I close Thursday, then I'm off Friday, Saturday. Saturday we will go online about probably 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern, but it'll be just me and Chris. It'll be our podcast format, the interview with a rhino, or as Brad suggests, we should start calling it State of the Brunion. We're going to keep it as interview with a rhino for now, but we might change it. And then next weekend, I don't know what my hours are, but if I close, I finish at 6:30 my time, which is 8:30 your time. I get home about 7 p.m. my time, which is 9 p.m. your time. But that's our hangout night. And that's the problem, right? It's too late. Nobody wants to start drinking with me at 9 at night. And if you're further out east, it's even later. So I mean, we try to make things work, but it is what it is. James, I can't answer that question because I fucking hate fish. I hate, and I mean, this is the thing, right? Now that I'm older, I could probably get into fish, but my mother fed me fish sticks all the time, like fucking Highlander fish sticks and shit like that. I have not ate fish since I was a kid because yeah, no, it's not for me. However, I will admit, in my 30s, my buddy Clark Bitter, who ran Batter Up Fish and Chips, uh, he gave me some fresh salmon that actually was really nice. It was cooked with his, well, not cooked, but it was spiced with his spices. Um, I've had some fish in the past that I like. My wife is not a big beer drinker, but she has told me that red ales are what she likes with fish and chips when she has a beer with fish and chips. She only has a beer with fish and chips when she's with me, though, because I force her to drink the beer. Well, I don't force her. It's not like I hold her down and be like, drink the beer, bitch. But she, because I'm drinking it, she'll drink it. That makes me sad, sir. Again, I haven't seen you in so long. Well, that's a lie. What was it? 2023? Was it 2023 or was it 2022 when we saw each other and we went to Blackburn? I can't remember if it was 2022 or 2023. I think 2022, wasn't it? Because 2023, 2023 we just brought Braith for her friends and we just stayed overnight and then we left. I think 2022 is when we saw each other for about an hour, which makes me sad. Like I said, man, I miss you. You're a great guy. You've always been good to me and my family, and we appreciate you. My wife asks about you every once in a while. How's Brian doing? How's his wife doing? I know that you're not actually married, but he still asks. Well, she still asks. I can't see what that face is. I know it's an emoji. I'm blind. Okay. Yeah. So it's been 2 years, man. I mean, I know we chat in. I haven't heard your voice since 2022. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's amazing that in the state and age that we're in, you can still chat with people that you don't see at all anymore. It really is. But at the same time, it's somewhat somewhat strange and somewhat hurtful and somewhat disappointing that it takes so long to see somebody in person again. And I get it. I do. I don't I don't hold anything against anybody. I understand exactly why is Daddy Bear over here? Daddy Bear. My adopted daughter. This one right here, my adopted daughter. This was my first Father's Day gift. When I started dating my wife, this was my first Father's Day gift because I was the first father she actually knew other than her grandfather. And I mean, she thinks I'm a jerk because she's a teenager now, and I'm a disgruntled Irishman. But I don't think she realizes I still have this bear, and I still keep it close to me all the time. It means a lot to me that she bought it for me. Hey, we can do that. I mean, we'll have to negotiate it since we have such a time difference. But yeah, maybe. Like I said, man, I still remember you training me at the place we both worked. And I don't say where it was. I know you've mentioned it once or twice, but I don't say where it was just so you don't get in trouble for anything. But it is what it is, man. I remember all that stuff, and I remember actually I remember nights where I would rush to get off the to get off the floor so that I could try and sit in your pre-shift and say hi. I, I remember you coming to fucking to Kitchener to Forefathers for that charity thing I did with Curtis. I remember that too. Like it, all that stuff meant, and that was right before we left for what we ended up doing in the Arctic. And I mean, we left hoping for something better. And I mean, there are people that went into the company we went into that made great things with their lives, and there are people that ended up having horrible things happen to them. And we're one of the people that were in the latter group, and that's why, as angry as I get at that company, I try not to say necessarily harmful things about them because I know it works for some people. It just didn't work for us. And that's okay. It's somewhat hurtful, but it's okay. It did what we needed to do. It made me and my wife's relationship stronger. It ended up helping teach my son a little bit. It exposed both my eldest and my youngest daughter to cultures they would never see. I mean, 3 of my 5 children have seen things that they would never see in their life. They've experienced living on a res, they've experienced living in an Arctic Inuit village, they've experienced cultures they would never see. Whether or not the cultures always worked out in the best interest of our family is another thing entirely, but they experienced things that I would not have experienced elsewhere. It gave us time to bond as a family. It gave me a lot of time with my wife to the point where I hate that we work at separate jobs now because I don't get to just look over at it. I find my wife so unbelievably desirable, regardless of what the certain person that worked with me and you thinks of her, that I am horrendously hurt that we don't work together anymore. And I mean that's just the way it is, right? It really was a nice visit. It really was. And again, I know you're not actually married to her, but I'm going to call her your wife because you've been with her so long, and I know where you are with her children and all that. But it was nice to see your wife and everything else at that, because I didn't interact with her as much as I interacted with you. Um, and it was nice to be able to interact outside of the beer festival or things like that. So that was really nice too. That was. Is there any? Is it just me and you now? How many viewers do we have left? Like nobody. I'm guessing nobody. Since nobody, guys, look, I'm talking with every comment that's put up. So make a comment, talk to me. Even if it's just a hi, I'll respond to it. Once I'm done this glass of beer, I'm going upstairs to make some cheese and crackers. Maybe take my dogs outside to pee so that my son doesn't have to do. It's what my son gets paid his allowance for, but I mean, he doesn't actually play with the dogs or anything when he puts them out. He just puts them out and it's like, yeah, do your shit, motherfuckers. And that just doesn't work. I think I start at 9 a.m. tomorrow. What time is it right now? I don't even know. Oh, it's only 10, so it's 12 for Brian there. Well, come on. If there's 7 of you, somebody say something. Chat. Say, look. If I don't get a comment in the next 45 seconds that isn't from Brian, I'm just gonna chug my beer and say good night. That's where it's gonna be. I don't even know what to talk about. This is the thing, right? When there's nobody here to chat with, it's actually has the video been good, Brian, the whole night? What hockey game are you watching? Yes, I've tried moonshine. Um, I've gone all the way. I've had 70% alcohol German spirits. I've had Putin, the Irish spirit that is 70% plus. I have had I have had a lot of very high alcohol percentage beer, well, not beers, but spirits. Back when I could drink spirits without doing bad things to myself. I have not had moonshine in about 15 years. I would not have moonshine ever again. But yes, I have tried it. How long is the lag? I don't know. Here, I'm going to post a comment as I'm talking. I'm posting this comment right now so you can figure out how long the lag is. Right now, I just hit enter. I hit enter right now. I'm going to guess 30 seconds or so. Usually it's about 30. Sure, the comment went through a lot faster than the holy fuck. Flames and Canucks. Well, you know who my team is, the lowly Senators. I'm so sad to see the downfall of the Senators. Oh, the downfall of the Senators. I'm really excited though that I still have an Albino Rhino beer review opener. I'm really excited for that. Like the fact that I still have this thing. And this thing is like over a decade old now. So that is spectacular. To be honest, spectacular. And I love it. It is a great opener. I have two of them. My mother-in-law kept one. I think she kept the orange one because it had the least amount of damage to the vinyl wrap. Well, 45 seconds behind. What do you mean you're the problem though? 45 that actually kind of makes sense with StreamYard because I'm streaming to StreamYard and then StreamYard streams to YouTube and the comments come in real time, but the video not so much. So that actually kind of makes sense. What is my favorite Pop Top beer? Are you talking about like the Grolsch Pop Top, the with the cage and the rubber grommet, or are you talking about actual Pop Top beers? Because if you're talking about Pop Top beers, I I would probably say we're back to Innocent Gun being my favorite Pop Top beer. They're not as good as they were when they first came out, but they're coming back with a passion, and the Irish whiskey cask is still amazing. Just saying, man, your phone could have been live on here with me. The phone works with StreamYard. You just need headphones. Just saying. Just saying. We could have chatted. We could have had a conversation. We could have. We could have. See, I still talk with my hands. I was in an interview, and it was weird because I was in an interview with the hiring manager in front of me, and this was another interview where the only reason I didn't get hired was that I didn't have a driver's license. I was told that my experience put me at the very number one spot and that I would get an offer within the next few days. And then they found out I didn't have a license and I didn't get the offer. But while I was there, the DSO was in Calgary. So I was on a phone call with the DSO and I'm sitting in front of the hiring manager and we're talking and the DSO is asking me questions and I'm answering his questions and my hands are moving and the guy in front of me is giggling and I go, I really apologize. He goes, why? I go, because you can hear the hiring manager. I said his name and his name was actually the same as mine. We were both Irish too. So his first letter of his last name was the same as mine. And the second letter of his last name was the same as mine. And I'm like, you can hear him giggling. And the reason he's giggling is I talk with my hands a lot and you can't see that, but he can. So there's a problem going on where he is watching me talk to you and answer your questions, and my hands are moving because you're not here. But this is how I emphasize things. See, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. Fuck. If anyone has any comments or questions or concerns they want to say, you have like 2 more sips. One more sip. Because once I finish that, I'm saying my goodbyes. I can't do sign language. I'm blind. I can't see what somebody's. I I can't. I can't see what somebody's doing. Legally blind man who can. I. You know what's the best part is you said that before. You would have heard the "I'm blind. I can't do this" bullshit. Imagine I was fucking translating what I was saying in sign language as I was saying it. I wonder if I got drunk enough that my words were slurring, if my sign language would start slurring too, or if I could still do it properly. Wonder how many people can learn sign language at 42 years old. I love my wife. You trying to tell me I should spell every word like hello? No, I can't. I can't do that. Come on now. That would take so long. Well, beer's gone. Thank you very much to everybody that was here tonight. Thank you very much for all the chatting we were able to do. Hopefully, people will join me next time we do a hangout in 2 weeks. If not, we'll see how long this can last. I do really enjoy that the internet works well enough to do this. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. Au revoir. A bientôt. See you soon. Bye bye.